So you're wondering what the best city is to live in Texas? San Antonio or Houston? Yeah, I am too. So let's talk about that. What's going on, guys? My name is Jaden. I'm a realtor here in the Houston area, and if this is your first time to my channel, thank you for stopping by. I make videos weekly on the best places to live in Houston, the cost of living in Houston, basically everything Houston. So hey, if that sounds interesting to you, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this one. In today's video, we're going to go over the age-old question: which city is the best to live in, Houston or San Antonio? In my previous videos, I put both Austin and Dallas in the ring against Houston to battle it out to see which city is the best to live in inside Texas. And to my surprise, Houston actually ended up losing both battles against Austin and Dallas based on your comments in the comment section. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this one kind of hurt my heart a little bit, just seeing how you guys shit on Houston just a little bit too much. I've absolutely loved growing up in Houston. I've been here since I was 7, and it has a special spot in my heart. But I left the decision of picking the winner up to you guys, so I guess I'm gonna have to deal with the outcome of Houston losing both, right? But what y'all probably don't know is I was actually born in San Antonio. Now, I might not remember much from my childhood, but I've been to San Antonio a couple of times since moving to Houston, so I got a good feel for it now. So today, I'm going to try my best to give each city a fair shot, and again, I'm going to leave the decision up to you guys to pick who the winner is. So after you guys watch this full video, please watch to the end, drop in the comment section, and let me know what you guys think of who the winner is. And if you haven't seen my past videos on both Austin and Dallas versus Houston, you should definitely go check them out. I'm going to leave them up right here, so just give it a little click, and you'll be straight to it. There you go. But watch it after this video. Alright, so now that we got all of that out of the way, let's now put San Antonio and Houston in the ring to battle it out for the best Texas city. Let's first talk about H-Town. The greater Houston area is the most ethnically diverse metropolitan area in the United States. At least 145 languages are spoken by Houston's residents, all originating from over 90 nations. Houston is the 4th most populous city in the nation, with an estimated population of over 2.3 million people, trailing behind New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago. Houston is expected to become the 3rd most populous U.S. city during the second half of the decade. This is partly due from all the residents moving from California to Texas, and Houston itself is a big attraction to those Californians. Not to say Austin isn't getting its fair share of new residents. Last year, California actually lost 700,000 residents, and their #1 go-to spot was, you guessed it, Houston. Houston received over 40,000 new residents from California in just a span of a short year, with Arizona falling shortly behind with 34,000 residents. But from this new surge of so-called Texans, every city located throughout Texas is receiving more and more newcomers that are looking to take advantage of our affordable cost of living. That actually brings me into my next point. How affordable is Houston? An easy way to determine if a city is affordable or not is simply using the cost of living index. This index is often used to compare how expensive it is to live in one city compared to another city. Scores are presented in relation to the national average of 100. If a city's index falls below 100, this means it's a relatively cheap place to live, and it's cheaper than the national average. But if a city ranks higher than the national average of 100, it's going to be a little bit more expensive, and you're going to have to stretch your budget a little bit. Now, Houston itself scores a 96.5 on this index. So it's not the most expensivest. I think that's a word. It's also not the cheapest, though. I'm going to leave this in here. They seem to have found the sweet spot between giving you that sweet, affordable housing costs and giving you those big city attractions that we love so much. Now, I don't want to neglect speaking about San Antonio, because they do have the upper hand when it comes to the cost of living index. So this is a perfect segue to compare the affordability in both these two cities. Now, San Antonio has an index of 89.7. Compared to Houston, that's a 7.6% difference. In San Antonio, utilities like electricity, water, garbage, sewer, and internet are less expensive across the board, coming out 13% lower than the national average. Not only are the utilities cheaper here in San Antonio, but the housing costs as well. San Antonio's housing costs are 24% lower than the national average, and 27% lower than Houston's housing costs, with the average house in San Antonio selling for around $263,000. But that's based off of data from 2019. And if you know anything about the housing market that we're in right now, a good word to summarize it all is bonkers. Complete bonkers. It's hard to say which city you can find a great deal for a house, because honestly, if you find one, it's definitely not going to be selling at asking price. Homes are selling rapidly, with the average days on market being only 38 days. Compared to the average in 2019, which was 90 days on market, That's a pretty big difference. It's clear homes are in high demand due to the Fed dropping interest rates in mid-2020. So what this all boils down to is you need to find a good realtor that can find you that good deal and actually get your offer accepted. Now, I honestly can make a whole video going over the cost of living and what you can get living on an average salary in both these cities. But I don't want to bore you guys, so I can make another video. Actually, that's what I'm going to do. That's going to be my next video. Just came up with an idea. There we go. So now that we quickly went over Houston and San Antonio's cost of living, let's now jump into the next segment. Next, we're going to talk about my favorite thing, the activities and attractions that these cities both have. Let's first go over some of Houston's hottest spots for entertainment. Houston serves up nationally recognized dining, shopping, entertainment, and nightlife. We have some of the best attractions and events, such as the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Sadly, this event got canceled this year due to you know what. But luckily for you, by the time this video goes up, it's probably already going on. Scheduled to take place on May 4th all the way to May 23rd, this gives Houston's residents a sense of hope that our economy is coming back alive. Now, if the sound of cowboy boots and country music isn't your style, which is mind-blowing to me since we live in Texas, but I can't criticize you. I don't even have a pair of boots. Now, if music festivals aren't really your thing, trust me, Houston has multiple different, less hectic options for you. You can also find a ton of things that are budget-friendly and even free. And if you know me, you know I love budget-friendly options and ultimately free stuff, like the Museum and Theater District. Houston's diverse museums cover everything from nature, art, science, history, and even more. The Museum District is home to 19 different museums and art institutions, all within a 1.5-mile radius, from the Holocaust Museum and the Museum of Natural Science to some more kid-friendly options, such as the Children's Museum. In Houston and its surrounding areas, they have a total of 150 museums. Now, museums in Houston are definitely part of its big cultural scene. Now, if you're not so much into the museum scene, trust me, I won't leave you hanging. Next, we're going to be talking about Houston's residents' growing love for craft beer and its local brewers. Under the Radar, Spindle Tap, and the Eighth Wonder are three breweries that I would personally recommend to anyone looking for a great spot to relax with some friends. Eighth Wonder is actually my favorite because they offer this huge outdoor seating area with repurposed shipping containers, massive statues of the Beatles, and even a food truck. From over 64 different local brewers, I'm sure you're going to be able to find a new beer to become one of your go-tos. Now, I don't want to leave San Antonio out of this equation, since they do have some activities that we here in Houston don't have. Now, you remember when I said I grew up in San Antonio? Well, the first thing that came to my mind as a kid was going to the Riverwalk. The San Antonio Riverwalk is 15 miles long and flows through about 5 miles of downtown San Antonio. Here you're going to be able to find a different array of shops, restaurants, breweries, and even museums, along with the fact that you can take a boat ride and get dropped off wherever you please for only $10. Just be sure you don't jump in the water and start swimming in the river. Somehow that's a safety concern. I don't know how. I'm just reading the facts. Now, I can't talk about San Antonio without mentioning the Alamo. Now, I'm sure you know everything about the Alamo, and I don't want to bore you guys, so I'm not going to go over the history of that. But right across the street, you're going to be able to find Louis Tazdad's Waxworks. I know, I completely butchered that, but here, it's on the screen, just right here. Louis Tazdad's Waxworks. Here, you're going to be able to find the largest array of the most realistic handmade wax figures. They also have different Ripley's shops, like Ripley's Haunted Adventure and Ripley's Believe It or Not. So as you can see, San Antonio hit everyone's sweet spot by getting the kids a little something to do and having some history on the other side of the street. Because honestly, as a kid, I think I was done with the Alamo in like 15 minutes and I was totally sick of it after that. But what got me through the rest of the tour was actually going to be able to go to the Ripley's shop and the wax figures. Now, I struggled to find any big name music festivals located in San Antonio other than the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo, which was actually canceled this year and it's supposed to be taking place in early February of 2022. But what they lack in music festivals, they make up in those saloons or those country dance hall type things. I'm not really sure what they're called, but I think that's what it is. Like the Thirsty Horse Saloon, Floor Country Store, and the Cowboy Dance Hall. Now, I personally haven't been to any of these, but honestly, if they saw me dance, I'd probably get kicked out anyway. So if you're good at two-stepping, or whatever the dance is called, honestly, I have zero clue. I'm probably embarrassing myself right now. But if you want to help me out, give me a little dance lessons, I'd appreciate it. Moving along now, I can't speak about San Antonio without mentioning their taco game. It's serious. Come on, I'm not playing. Now, what I'm about to say is not an opinion. It's simply a fact. San Antonio has been repeatedly rated as the taco capital of Texas, pushing Austin into the shadows. Walking around downtown San Antonio, I can almost guarantee each corner you take, there's a taco shop right there and ready to serve you. So now that we got a good idea for some activities located in each city, we should probably mention some of the activities located around and on the outskirts of each city, just to show off what each city offers nearby. So first off, let's talk about San Antonio, since they're pretty much winning in each department we go over. If you're looking for a river that you can actually swim in other than the San Antonio River, just a quick 35-minute drive and boom, there you are in New Braunfels, ready to hit the Guadalupe River. You're in for a fun-filled day floating the Guadalupe and probably get a tan while you're at it. Now, if you're one of those wine connoisseurs, Fredericksburg Wine Country is going to be a spot that speaks your language. Only an hour drive from downtown San Antonio, from over 50 different wineries located in Fredericksburg, I'm sure you'll have your work cut out for you if you try to hit them all. Or you'll probably end up passing out on the third winery you hit. I mean, go big or go home, am I right? Probably go home. Moving along to Houston, we can dive into what entertainment they have to offer located all around the city. We don't have any of those nice lakes or rivers, or at least none that you would want to swim in. But what we lack in lakes and rivers, we make up for with the beautiful sandy beaches of Galveston. Yeah, I was lying about the beautiful part, but it sure is sandy. Now, I can't completely hate on Galveston, since this definitely was my go-to spot during those summer months, and it was a spot that me and my friends always loved. If you don't prefer the murky waters of Galveston, you're going to love the crystal clear water of Slitterbahn. Here you'll find a fully packed water park with all different types of water slides, tubing rides, and actually clear water. But hey, if clear water is what you're looking for, there's a new spot located in Texas City, just 40 minutes away from downtown and 20 minutes away from Galveston. And I promise you, all Houston residents are flocking to this new attraction. And that would be the Crystal Clear Lagoon at Lago Mar. Now, I actually made a full video on Lago Mar as a neighborhood itself, so you can check that out right here, but for right now, I'm only speaking about the 12 acres of crystal clear waters that they offer. During the summer months, they're open to the public, and you can get a ticket for around $25. So like I said, if you're looking for that clear water, this is a go-to spot that all Houston residents gotta go see. Next, we're going to be going over the differences in weather between these two cities. Though they're only a 3.5 hour drive, the weather does change. Because San Antonio isn't near any huge bodies of water, they definitely win in the department of rainfall and humidity. San Antonio receives around 33 days of rainfall compared to Houston's 55 days. Like I mentioned, Houston is close to the Gulf of Mexico, which brings that warm, moist air, and boom, that's how we get humidity. Now, just because Houston residents are so used to the humidity does not mean that we don't wish it was gone. Now, on average, San Antonio actually has more sunny days than Houston does, being 220 days of complete sun compared to Houston's 202 days of sunny days. So from the looks of it, San Antonio has more sunny days, less rain, and they're missing out on the crazy humidity that we have here in Houston. Now, I didn't even go over the problem of the hurricanes that we have here in Houston. As we saw during Hurricane Harvey, hurricanes are no joke and can turn a booming economy on its side and make it difficult to recover. However, because Houston's amazing community, we were able to get back on our feet at record speed because of the support. Not to downplay this disaster at all, because it truly was a nuance causing more than $125 billion of damages. Now that's actually going to wrap up today's video. Who do you think won? Houston or San Antonio? H-Town or the Alamo City? So like my past videos, I'm going to leave the decision up to you guys. So please leave in the comments below, who do you really think won of being the best city in Texas? Now if you want to check out my last two videos that I made on putting Austin, Dallas, and Houston to the test, you can check it out right here, or you can check it out in the description below. Also, if you're thinking about moving to the Houston area and still have some more questions on your mind, you can always give me a call, text, email, Facebook message, Snapchat, Instagram, I mean everything. You can go hit me up in any one of my social platforms. All the links are in the description below, so feel free to hit me up, alright? I honestly love making new connections with you guys, and surely just helping you guys out. So with all that being said, I'm going to end the video off right here. I'm just kidding. How can I forget about my outro? And as always, stay safe, keep grinding, and I'll catch you guys in next week's video.